on?
We are live.
We're on?
We're on.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. We haven't done this in a while. I'm Dr. Erica Barron, and this is our head LVT here at Nova Cat Clinic, Ellen Carrozza. And we're here to chat with you while we drink our, neither of us are drinking coffee, but that's okay.
I know. I had
usually
too much coffee this morning.
It's usually coffee talk, but we're not drinking coffee. I'm drinking tea. And we're going to talk to you about poop and your cat's poop, and mostly this was supposed to be about constipation. So let's kick it off, and don't forget, just feel free to ask questions as we go. We might save them until the end so we don't get too sidetracked, because I'm good at getting sidetracked.
Right. And just so everybody knows beforehand, because we know we're going to get a lot of questions, yes, this is one of our house cats, Tigress, who has decided to take up residence on one of our dentistry tables. And this is her new habit, and she does this all the time.
Yes, we have to move her when we're working with patients. So we just felt like we didn't want to move her during this talk because she adds to it, because she's so cute. We're sorry she's not facing you. She probably won't choose to get up and turn around in the middle because she sleeps quite well. But anyway, if you want to follow her, you can. I think we take some pictures of her on Facebook
Sure
and
do.
Instagram and stuff, and you can come meet her. She's very sweet. So anyway, we're going to talk about constipation. So, Ellen, how often should a cat defecate?
Ideally, depending upon the age of the animal. So if it's a kitten, we want to see them pooping at least once a day, though they will go multiple times a day, because you have to remember cats have a really short GI tract. But some cats don't poop every day. Some cats can poop every 2 days, sometimes every 3 days. But that's why it's important to monitor your cat's pooping habits, because if something is no longer normal, then you need to make a visit to your vet.
Yeah, so in general, I don't get too worried if it's like they're going at least once every day, every other day. But when it's more than once every 3 days, every 4 days, then there's something going on. So besides for, monitoring their poop, Ellen always says this much more eloquently than I do, but she always reminds everyone you should monitor its color, its consistency, and its odor.
Yep. And it's okay when you come in and we ask you about it, if you need to compare it to, say, food products, like we always get it's like soft ice cream. Yeah, okay, we understand. If it's more odorous than what it normally is, like your cat runs out of litter box scared of its own poop, and it normally doesn't do that, and then your eyebrows fall off and everybody gets sick, then maybe we need to do something different for that. But it's really important to know whose poop is whose in the house and when it actually becomes abnormal, because it tells you really awesome signs of what's going on with the GI tract in general.
Yes, Patrick.
We have one person on our Instagram asking that their cat is pooping all over the house and that they've added rice, and 16 years old. What can they do?
It's time to see your veterinarian first
Good
to
answer.
find out something medically is not wrong with the cat, and then you also need to basically take a look at what's going on in the household itself. Like, are there enough litter boxes? Is the litter box not hooded? Is it low enough? Because maybe your cat's older and it's arthritic. So these are all things that you need to bring up to see your veterinarian before searching online for that answer.
Yes, Patrick.
Cheshire Walker, her cat keeps stepping in and out of the litter box multiple times before finally pooping. Question mark. Why?
So that could be a couple different things, but I do think it's worth it for the cat to be rectaled by a veterinarian. That to me could be an anal gland issue. We did a talk not too long ago about anal glands, so I would reference that one, and then just have your cat rectaled to see if the anal glands are an issue, or the main reasons you become constipated are because you can't push it out or because you're too dry. Doesn't matter which species you are. Those are the reasons you become constipated. So then, we can go into the nuances of, I can't push. Is it megacolon? Is it a neurologic issue? Is it a muscular issue? There's a lot of reasons for that. Or, I'm too dry. Am I starting to get kidney disease? Am I dehydrated? Am I diabetic? Am I in DKA? There's a lot of reasons you could be too dry. So, to me, if you're going in and out of the box a lot before you can defecate, I think that means you should go to the vet. The other thing is, if you notice your pet going in and out of the box a lot, make sure starts urinating. Sometimes people bring their cats in because they're like, he's having a hard time urinating. And the keynote to that little lead-in was he. It's a lot more important if this is happening to a boy cat than a girl cat. But if he is having a hard time urinating or defecating, we also need to make sure he's urinating. If he's not urinating appropriately, he could be blocked. That could become an emergency. We might have to place a urinary catheter in him and help relieve the blockage. He might have stones. He might have crystals. There's a couple different reasons cats have urinary obstructions. Pretty sure we did a video about that about a year and a half ago, so you could watch that one if you have more questions about that. But those are the main things. You know, if your cat's not defecating a lot enough, this is something to talk to your vet about. And if it's really dry, we might have to do things to help moisten it. Besides giving Laxatone and Miralax, they might have to get fluids. We might want to do blood work to see if there's an issue with your cat's kidneys or something like that.
And sometimes we need to even revisit their diet. Sometimes this can be diet related too. There are some cats that are on prescription diets that need to be on a diet that's either higher in fiber, that actually helps them create the bulk for them to go to the bathroom, or kind of help loosen things up. Fiber is either your friend or your enemy in certain cases. Or if there's some cats that, they can't handle I want to say the lower quality diets. They tend to cause a lot of bulky, malodorous stool, depending upon the types of food used. And of course, there's always that, well, my animal's on a raw diet, they don't produce a lot of poop. And the reason why they don't produce a lot of poop is because it's nothing but pure proteins. There's none of the other certain fillers, etc., that you would see in it with a dry diet. So if your cat is on a strictly wet food diet or the raw food diet, you are going to see smaller stool amounts. Doesn't mean you don't stop monitoring what's going on, because just because you're on a wet food doesn't mean they're not going to run into a stool issue.
Right, because it's just like a person. You know, if you're eating highly digestible food, you're not going to make a lot. That's why we have to eat things like celery and roughage to help us move it along. Yes, Patrick?
We have several questions. This one's probably the most valid here. Why is a cat pooping outside the box but uses it for number one?
Great question. So, if a cat is urinating inside the box and not defecating inside the box, there could be a few different reasons. The most common reason is, I usually think of, it might be a pain thing. Cats stand differently when they urinate than defecate. So, it might not be painful when they're urinating in there, but it might be painful when they're defecating. So I would think about getting a secondary box, a different type of box, a different type of litter, maybe making sure it's a low step. The other reason this might be happening is because the cat might want it scooped more often. They might not want to urinate and defecate in the same place. A lot of cats have different needs based on the cat. So I would think about trying to, talk to your veterinarian about those things.
Right. And what's the rule of thumb always with cats in litter boxes? It's one litter box per cat plus one extra. So if you got 7 cats in the house, have fun with 8 litter boxes.
The other, and we've gone through the different rules with litter boxes before. Actually, a really easy place to find this information, if you go to the Nova Cat Clinic website, which is novacatclinic.com, and then you go over to our behaviors tab, which is in the middle, I believe, and then you go to house soiling. There's the American Association of Feline Practitioners recommendations right there, and guidelines and different pictures of different types of litter boxes. So that's a great place to look for that information. And make sure they're not in the same visual eye line of each other. That's another big one. Yes, Patrick?
All right, this is an update from the same person. She'll start digging in the box multiple times before finally pooping. She'll go in and dig like she's trying to find something, and then when the owner goes into the bathroom to scoop and flush, when she's done, she'll leave the bathroom. She'll do this multiple times till she eventually goes, and sometimes doesn't go at all.
Sounds like you need to see your veterinarian.
And some cats are avid, they really, really, really like to dig.
Yep.
So she might need more substrate too. I don't know. I would talk to her veterinarian about that.
Quick question.
Yes.
Open litter boxes preferable to closed ones? True or false?
True.
All right.
Unless you're my
True.
cat.
And
they
also
have
the
to
rule
have-
of thumb also with litter boxes is it needs to be 1.5 times the length of your cat. The
They have to
bigger
be
the
able to
box,
turn
the
around.
better.
And one more, guys. We
Yes.
have somebody who really wants to get your opinion on a cat who has an obsession with eating plastic bags. Why? And she's also concerned that it's going to get stuck.
It might.
It's true, but remember, we're talking about poop today. We're not talking about GI foreign bodies. Sounds like you need to talk to your veterinarian about that. If your cat is eating stuff it is not supposed to, there might be a medical underlying problem that is causing it.
Yes. That being said, I would make it so they can't eat plastic. My cats like to chew on
Pick it
plastic
up.
too. And we just make sure we don't have any around. And remember that, what was that cat's name? Was it Brienne? That we took all that plastic out of her GI tract?
That was a lot of plastic.
That
I
was
will
a
say
lot.
this, I almost had a plastic incident in my house with one of my cats, Michelle, the one who steals potatoes all the time. Except it wasn't a potato this time she stole. She decided she was going to try to steal an orange, and they come in that mesh bag, and I thought I had it up out of the way, but no, I didn't, and I heard that that chewing noise that kind of gives you an alertness of like, they're doing something bad. What are they doing? And find out. Sure enough, I go walk around into the kitchen, and there's a big hole in this orange mesh bag, and I'm going, it's great. Now I have to go to work night. Call one of you guys up, meet me in to find out what's going on with my cat. And then I was like, oh wait, I have insurance. If something really does happen, I'll just bring her to the ER. Well, 5 minutes later, blah, 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 blah. All of this
You're like,
plastic.
thank you for throwing it up and saving me a
And
trip.
I was like, and of course I sat there and I was like, opening the plastic up as
Making
much
sure
as
it fits.
making sure it fit
You're like,
the same
does this
hole.
fit? Is this the right hole here?
So
with these
I
chew
got
bars?
lucky. So now I have to make sure that the
There's
oranges
no
are
potatoes or oranges.
now like way in the refrigerator or in the
That is
closet,
so
and then I can't
funny.
forget about them because then they get really stinky when they start going bad. So-
All right, so back to poop. Are there any other poop questions?
How much litter should be in the litter box?
At least 3 inches, preferably more. You will find all of that information on the AFP litter box guidelines. Where you go to Nova Cat Clinic, go to the behavior section, go to the litter habits, find out there, read it. It's a fantastic resource for the public to use.
I think I send that link out at least 4 times
Yeah.
a day.
And it's great. It gives you all the information there on what we're saying. You need to have bigger litter boxes. They prefer them unhooded. You need to have them in these places in the house, especially when they do the. And the one thing I find funny is like the no high traffic area. Even though everybody has that habit of putting a litter box in the bathroom. And then you get these awesome stories. It happens to me in my house too, that they see you going into the bathroom and it's like a bunch of girls that go out to eat dinner
Yes.
and they all got to go
My
to the
cats
bathroom
always
together.
go in the bathroom.
So they all
with
want to go to
me.
the bathroom with you too. Just
But
make
my
sure.
litter box is in the bathroom. They just want to go and hang out. They're like, you're sitting here for a while. Let's hang out.
Right. So I mean, those are things as well. But it's a great resource for you to understand and kind of reevaluate what you have set up in your home.
Mhm.
So when you go to your veterinarian, you have a better conversation, and you guys can understand each other a little bit more. Even if you drew a map and was like, "This is my house. These are where the litter boxes
Mhm.
are," and your veterinarian can be like, "Oh, we need to make some changes here."
And you can always just take pictures too and show them.
Yep.
I know whenever I used to take my turtle to the vet, I would take a picture of his living situation and then show it to them instead of trying to take the picture.
Yep.
Are there any other questions, Patrick?
No.
All right. So Ellen, do you want to talk a little bit about kittens and poop? Because I know kittens are your area of expertise.
That's a whole that's a
just
whole
little
talk in
bit.
itself.
Yeah.
Kittens do need to poop daily. What is not normal with kittens is runny poop, cottage cheese poop, green poop, white poop, greasy poop. You want the perfect poop. It needs to be a formed nugget, which we like to, call the number 2 pencil because it comes out sometimes the same color, about the same size in width. But anything that's diarrhea or really loose, that's not normal. Even though everyone would be like, they're on formula, that's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. You need to bring that up to your veterinarian because a lot of these kittens can have parasites. They can have a really bad GI floral imbalance that the veterinarian's going to have to actually prescribe antibiotics for. They can be so bad. And with kittens, it's really important to know that if you are weaning them and you suddenly change their diet without a gradual diet change. That's why there's always these second step formulas to help ease these kittens into the transition. They can get really bad diarrhea just from a simple food change. So it's always important to keep them on the same formula the entire time. It could be a different canister, but the same brand will cause less upset as these kittens grow.
The other thing to remember is that if your cat is constipated, if they're straining and nothing's coming out, if they're uncomfortable, if they're miserable, take your
really
cat to the
bloated
vet.
Yep.
If it's going on after hours and they haven't gone in a couple days, take your cat to the ER. It's important. They're really uncomfortable, and when we have to deobstipate cats, it's really hard on them.
Yep, it's hard on us. None of us like going butt spunking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but that's effectively what it is. We actually have to go up there and manually evacuate this poor cat out. Mm-hmm. So now, while we're on the topic of evacuating cats, what are some of the common medications out there that can help keep the stools a bit softer for these cats?
So we like to give them Miralax. We also like to give them Laxatone, and then that's for the cats that it's too dry, right? We need it. Those are kind of things to move things. Mm-hmm. There's also stuff that if things aren't moving, not because it's not too dry. So we do things like cisapride, and there's some other medications we can use too. Another thing we can do is acupuncture, depending on the cause. But, these are all things you should talk to your vet about. Mm-hmm. If your cat is constipated and needs to be deobstipated, which means we go in, we sedate the cat, and we bring everything out, it's something that we should think about. Take your cat to the vet.
Yep.
And sometimes it's an anal gland issue. We just need to clean out those anal glands, then everything else follows.
Yep. And we do x-rays on these cats that haven't gone to the bathroom in several days. We will do an x-ray just to see how backed up they are. And it can be pretty impressive of what is in there. Sometimes horrifying.
Yeah, you just feel really bad for them. And then the other thing is, if it does become a medical issue over time and it happens and happens and happens, there is a surgery we can do. We send it to a surgeon. We don't do that here. It's very messy. Where, we can reattach different parts of the GI tract to each other and take out the disease part that's not working. That being said, we prefer not to do that unless we have to, because, most people want most of their GI tract intact in general.
I did get a lot of questions in regards to this. I did post up an x-ray of an example of severe obstipation, and a bunch of people started raising their hands about their cats having megacolon.
Oh. Well,
somebody actually had a question about megacolon. Any tips regarding caring for a cat with megacolon?
If your cat has megacolon, we have to decide, again, is it that they're not pushing things, or is it too dry, or is it both? A lot of cats, it's both when you are truly diagnosed with megacolon. So there's different medications you can have your cat on. And it's a balancing act, unfortunately. It's really hard. This is an N of 1, and unfortunately it's not you, it's your cat. So you're sitting there trying to decide, do you need more Laxatone today? Do you need more Miralax? Should I continue the cisapride? Do you need more Pred? There was a cat I saw earlier this week that has megacolon and has some other things going on. And for the reasons of the other thing, they increased the steroids the cat was on. And within a day, that cat got super, super constipated because steroids dry you out, right? That's the point. It reduces inflammation, takes it all away.
Regardless of steroids making you constantly thirsty, especially in
yes. So it dries them out, and then they can't push it out because it's too dry, and it's not going anywhere, and then they get stopped up, and then the whole thing kind of does this unfortunate thing. And that cat, I believe, has had surgery to correct it, and he still has a lot of issues because unfortunately his GI tract is so diseased. So, the main thing is with megacolon is try to figure out why the cat has megacolon if you can. Try to correct it if you can. And if it's this constant, we're not sure what to do and we're going to throw a lot of different things, I think one of the best things you can do for any patient, cat, dog, person, who has a chronic disease is keep a journal. You're not going to remember what happens tomorrow, and if you do, good for you, but keep a journal. Today I gave my cat this much Miralax and this happened, and then I gave him this much cisapride and this happened, blah 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 blah, because we'll be able to see things happening.
Your veterinarian actually loves it. The more information you can bring them, the better. We actually really even enjoy it when our diabetic patients come in and they come in with their glucose home monitoring chart they have created.
Yes.
So we can exactly see their trends. Same thing with your cats that have GI problems. If you bring in to your veterinarian as much information as possible, they can look at it and be like, okay, we have a trend coming here. These are the things we can do to help correct it.
Mhm.
So the more information, always the better. Don't be afraid to bring too much information to the table, because the lack of information actually creates more of a problem.
Mm-hmm. Other things with megacolon is you can always see someone who does acupuncture. You can also see someone, if you can medicate your cat, you might want to see someone who does herbs or homeopathies, because there's some people that have a lot of really great success with that. Patrick, are there any other questions?
Yeah, there's a lot. I didn't see there was some scrolling here.
Okay.
Girl has very smelly poop, but boy's poop doesn't usually smell. Any reason?
When was the last time you had that poop checked out?
Right.
Yeah, and it's everybody's different. Like, I can't eat dairy. Ellen can eat dairy. Our
This is a
poops
good
are
question.
probably different because we're different
Your
people.
GI gut flora is different with
Yeah.
everybody.
Someone rescued a declaw cat, and could her pooping outside of the box be a side effect of that?
Sure
And
can.
he did not declaw her.
Sure can.
Yeah, so I might try to use a
Or she,
softer
sorry.
litter.
Yep.
You could use Dr. Elsie's, like he has like a geriatric litter
Mm-hmm.
that you could use. You could also just, I think it's called
Walmart's
World's Best.
Esquizzy Cat. Believe it or not, Walmart's cat litter brand Esquizzy Cat is a super fine sand that you can use as well. But you have to remember, the declawed cat, when you're using certain litters, it's almost like asking an amputee to walk on rice grains on their stump. That's how painful some of these cats can be from the surgeries. And kudos to you for actually noticing that this could be one of the problems of this cat.
Yeah, and maybe just make it so maybe the cat doesn't have to walk. Like maybe it's a lower gate to get in the litter or something like that. Like there's a lot of different places you could go with this. Yes, Patrick.
Indoor odor reducing kibble. Is that a how healthy is this for a cat? Should they be feeding him specific things?
Well, every cat is different, and like we keep saying, you do need to speak to your veterinarian about your cat's diet. Just because it says on the bag that helps reduce, stool odors or whatever, that means the food, and you make sure it's AFCO, approved, that has to meet certain nutritional requirements, doesn't necessarily mean that the food is going to do its job, because what happens with those types of diets, they're the ones that they're able to process them like much better. They're broken down more, so the cat actually utilizes more of the food, or there's actually added ingredients in there that they just block the odor, and it does nothing to do with nutritional content. So you do need to speak to your veterinarian about that. I am unfamiliar with odor blocking stools or for food.
Yeah.
On the subject of Miralax, vet said the same thing that you guys have been talking about, but they've been giving it to their 16-year-old cat for several months. Is this a long-term solution, or is this something that they will eventually have to reevaluate?
It depends on what the underlying issue of needing the Miralax is. I'm sorry, I can't be more specific than that. But Miralax might be something your cat needs for the rest of their life.
Yep.
It might be something where it needs for a while and not for a while. It might be, it depends on everything. So if it's a cat that has kidney disease and it needs Miralax to defecate every day, to me I'm like, okay, instead of needing Miralax, do you actually need subcutaneous fluids? There might be another thing you need to add in. I don't know. I would ask your veterinarian.
But Miralax is safe to use on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Patrick.
Let's see. We have a multiple cat household with multiple boxes. How does one know who the poop belongs to? And it makes it difficult to monitor problems with constipation. And I have a critic with my camera angle. If they saw what I was working with, they might sympathize.
I'm sorry.
It's
about
either read the
Patrick.
questions or camera angle. Take your pick.
I mean, I have a multiple cat household. I know whose poop is whose. I mean, you should be able to actually see your cat go in the litter box, scoop it, and notice that something is abnormal there. if you don't know whose poop is whose in the house, you might have too many cats to keep track of what's going on.
So my answer is a little different because I don't scoop my litter box because my husband.
Your husband scoops.
Because Grandma Phil told Matt that I could never have kids if I scooped a litter box. And since I'm still breastfeeding, I don't have to because he thinks it's fine.
You know how many times a day I scoop my litter box? I can't tell you how many times I scoop my litter box, and it's to the more than 6 at least. And then all my husband has to do is to be sitting at his computer desk or watching TV or something, and he'll see the cat go into the bathroom to go use the litter box, or someone go downstairs and go use the litter box, and he'll be like, box check, immediately. And then of course he's right, because all of a sudden the odor just hits you, and you know something has happened, so you gotta go running in there and get it out.
So my answer is different. My answer is if you're not sure what's going on and you're not there to check the box all the time, just get some cameras.
Yeah.
Somebody just
They're
suggested
super
that.
cheap.
Yep.
You can get a whole bunch of
Nest
house
cam, the Waze
That's a
That's
camera.
great-
what I would do.
I actually have
Good
a
point.
Waze cam in the downstairs of my house because sometimes I have a phantom pooper, and so I'm
we
trying
used to have a phantom pooper at Starbucks when I worked there in undergrad. So when you said
at least
that,
this is a cat. It's not a person.
well, no, it was always in the bathroom. I would never clean the bathrooms there. I
No.
made other people do it.
No, it's
I hope none of my
terrible.
Starbucks friends are
But
watching.
yes,
because
you
I
should-
just admitted that I never did. the
Might be a
bathrooms.
little bit too intimate to get to
snap.
know which cat is doing what, but yeah, it's really important to see which cat has
Just
any
get
kind of
cameras.
output problem. It's
Just get
not a big
cameras.
deal.
That's what I would do.
Everybody poops, so does your cat. You should know what's going on with them at all times.
We have that book at home. I've never read it.
We should
They
include a
gave
link.
it to us when we had Shoshana. Everybody poops. I haven't read it, but we have it. Are there any other questions, Patrick?
No, not that I can see. My Gatorade bottle is in front of
You
me.
see that? This is what
But-
happens when you complain about
Oh,
the camera angle.
oh no! There's a question and I can't read it. Oh, drat! Oh, hold on. Let's see.
Ellen forgot her iPad at home, so
I
right
did
now
right.
we have
Okay.
my iPad set up on Facebook and then her little.
I have
for
sympathy.
Instagram. And Patrick's doing a really good job, everyone.
And Tigris doesn't care.
Yes, Tigris doesn't care. Are there any other questions? Or are we good?
No, just everybody's very thankful and that you guys do a great job.
Oh, well, thank
All
you,
right.
everybody. So if there's any questions or concerns you have or anything you want us to chat about, we're going to try to do these more often again. But we make no promises because we have to take care of the cats here first.
Right, sometimes we're really busy.
Yes, we've been very busy. Very, very busy, which is good because we like to take care of cats. But if we can ever help you, feel free to shoot us an email at the office. It's office@novacatclinic.com, or just comment below this video, or
And if you're local, make an appointment.
yeah, we'd love to see you. We're really nice. Well, I'm really nice. Ellen will tell it to you straight because I'm from the Midwest, right?
Right? I'm from New York. I'll tell you straight up with no problem.
Well, thank you for sharing this time with us. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.